Do you want to know which watch brands everyone is buying in 2026? The watch world has changed a lot, with some brands making really cool watches that don't cost too much money. Whether you want your first watch, need something that looks nice, want to save money, or just like cool watches, these brands are making the best watches right now. Some of these brands you might know, and some might be new to you. Let's look at the 10 watch brands that became super popular in 2026. Number 1 is making watches that are almost perfect. Number 10. Pagani Design. Pagani Design starts our list as a Chinese brand, making watches that look like expensive watches, but cost way less money. This brand shows that you can get nice-looking watches without spending all your money. What makes Pagani Design cool is they make watches that look like famous expensive watches, but only cost around $100 instead of $10,000. The watches use automatic movements, which means they wind themselves when you wear them, so you don't need batteries. The watches have sapphire crystal, which is super hard glass that doesn't scratch easily, keeping your watch looking new. The watches are built pretty well for the price and can handle normal daily use without breaking. The watches come in many different styles and colors, so you can pick the one you like best. Some people don't like that these watches copy famous designs, but many people think it's a good way to get nice looks for less money. Number 9. Baltany. Coming at number 9 is Baltany, proving that small watch brands can make really good vintage-style watches. This brand shows that new companies can make watches that look old school in a cool way. What makes Baltany special is they make watches that look like old military watches from many years ago, with simple dials you can read easily. The watches are small sizes like 38mm, which fit better on normal wrists instead of being too big like some modern watches. The watches have good quality for the price, with nice details and parts that work well together. The company makes watches that look authentic to old designs instead of just pretending, which watch fans really like. The watches cost around $200–300, which is fair for what you get compared to other vintage-style watches. People who like military watches and old-school designs really love Baltany watches because they get the look right. Number 8. San Martin. The San Martin brand takes number 8, showing that Chinese watches have become really good quality now. This brand proves that watches from China can be as good as watches from other countries when made carefully. What makes San Martin amazing is they use really nice finishing on their watches with shiny and brushed surfaces that look expensive. The watches use sapphire crystals and ceramic bezels, which are fancy materials that expensive watches use. The watches have good automatic movements inside that keep good time and last a long time with basic care. The watches are built really solid and feel heavy and strong when you hold them, not cheap or light. The watches only cost around $300–500, but look and feel like watches that cost $3,000 or more. People who know about watches are really impressed with San Martin because they deliver luxury quality at normal prices. The brand keeps getting better and making new designs that people want to buy. Number 7. Timex. Timex takes number 7 as the American brand that everyone thought was boring, but now makes really cool watches again. This brand shows that old companies can become exciting again with good ideas. What makes Timex cool now is they brought back old designs from the 1960s and 1970s that look really stylish today. The watches have bright colors and fun designs like Pepsi bezels that make them stand out and look interesting. The watches are super affordable, starting around $50 and going up to $300, so anyone can afford a nice Timex. The brand makes both battery-powered quartz watches and wind-up mechanical watches, giving people different choices. Timex watches are really tough and last a long time even if you're not careful with them. Famous people and watch collectors started wearing Timex again, making them popular with young people. The brand feels American and has history, which some people like more than buying watches from other countries. Number 6. Citizen. Citizen comes in at number 6 as the Japanese brand making watches that never need batteries because they run on light. This brand proves that solar-powered watches are really smart and practical for everyday life. What makes Citizen special is their eco-drive technology that charges from any light source, so you never change batteries ever. The watches are really accurate and reliable, running perfectly all the time without you doing anything to them. The brand makes watches in all styles, from dress watches to dive watches to sports watches for everyone. The watches have good quality with nice materials and building that lasts many years of daily wear. Citizen makes affordable watches around $150–500 that give you lots of features and quality for the money. The watches are practical and make sense for people who want something that just works without problems or maintenance. Young people like solar watches because they're better for the environment with no battery waste. Number 5. Orient. Orient takes number 5 as the Japanese brand making beautiful automatic watches at prices that seem too good to be true. This brand shows you can get mechanical watches without spending crazy amounts of money. What makes Orient awesome is they make their own automatic movements in-house, which most brands don't do at low prices. The watches have really pretty dials with cool designs and colors that catch the light and look expensive. The brand makes dress watches that look elegant and fancy, perfect for looking nice at school or special events. The watches are well made with good finishing and attention to details that you can see and feel. Orient watches cost around $150–$400, which is really cheap for automatic watches that are this nice. The watches are reliable and last a long time, running well every day without breaking or having problems. People who want mechanical watches but can't afford expensive Swiss watches love Orient because it's such good value. Number 4. Seiko. Seiko comes in at number 4 as the big Japanese brand that makes everything from cheap watches to super expensive luxury watches. This brand proves they can make watches for everyone at every price level. What makes Seiko so popular is they make really good quality watches at all price points from $100 to $10,000. The brand invented important watch technology like quartz movements and spring drive that changed how watches work. Seiko dive watches are legendary and tough enough for actual diving in the ocean, staying waterproof and reliable. The watches have excellent lume that glows really bright in the dark so you can see time at night easily. Seiko makes affordable mechanical watches starting around $200 that let people try automatic watches without huge expense. The brand has some quality control issues where watches arrive with defects, but when they're good, they're really good. Seiko watches hold their value well, and people want to buy them used, which is good for resale. Number 3. Casio. Casio takes number 3 as the Japanese brand famous for making super tough watches that can survive anything you do to them. This brand proves that digital watches can be just as cool and useful as regular watches. What makes Casio amazing is their G-Shock watches that are basically indestructible, surviving drops, water, mud, and anything else. The watches have tons of features like timers, alarms, world time, and stopwatches that are actually useful in real life. Casio makes really affordable watches with many G-Shocks costing under $100, making tough watches available to everyone. The watches look cool and tough with bold designs that make a statement and show personality. G-Shock has become a fashion symbol with celebrities and cool people wearing them, making them trendy. The watches last forever, with some people wearing the same G-Shock for 20 years without it breaking. Casio makes simple, cheap watches like the F91W that only cost $10, but work perfectly fine for basic needs. Number 2. Tissot. Taking second place is Tissot as the Swiss brand making affordable luxury watches that feel fancy, but don't cost crazy money. This brand proves you can get Swiss quality without spending your whole savings account. What makes Tissot special is they're a real Swiss brand with Swiss movements at prices around $300–$1,000, not $5,000. The watches are well made with nice finishing and quality materials that feel premium when you wear them. Tissot makes watches in all styles from sporty to dressy to casual, so they have something for everyone. The brand has cool technology like Powermatic 80 movements that run for 80 hours without winding or wearing. Tissot watches are good starter Swiss watches that let you own a Swiss brand before buying really expensive ones. The watches have the Swiss Cross logo, which means they're made in Switzerland with Swiss quality standards. People like Tissot because it feels like owning a luxury watch, but at a price that normal people can actually afford. Number 1. Dan Henry, the game changer. Finally, here it is. The number 1 watch brand that took over 2026 by making watches that are almost perfect for the price. Dan Henry. This isn't a big famous brand. It's a small company started by one person who loves vintage watches and wanted to make perfect copies of cool old designs at prices everyone can afford, showing that you don't need to be a huge company to make amazing watches that people love, and proving that good design and fair prices beat fancy brand names and expensive marketing. Dan Henry makes watches that look exactly like cool vintage watches from the 1960s and 1970s with all the details done right. What makes Dan Henry so amazing and why everyone loves them is they get vintage designs perfect with correct sizes, colors, and details that look authentic. The watches use good automatic movements that wind themselves and keep accurate time every day without problems or breakdowns. The watches have sapphire crystal, which is super hard scratch-proof glass, and good finishing that looks way more expensive than the price. The watches only cost around $250 to $350, which seems impossible for the quality you're getting compared to other brands.